Hello. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. We're in the midst of another week, and I am doing another wellness pro bono video on, I'm calling Wellness Wednesday, kind of generic, but I do want to make the information accessible to all. So just want to review who I am, what I'm doing on the internet, why I'm spamming your social media feed to bring some of this information. I am Shannon Myers. I'm a certified rehabilitation counselor. Again, nobody knows what that is. We are holistic counselors that work with the whole person, a lot of times in employment, but we're ninjas at understanding mental and physical chronic illness, disability, accommodations in workplace, workflows, and really honoring the whole person, whether that be sexual health or gender. We address everything. And so we do work with employers, businesses, as researchers in the public and private sector, and I worked for the state prior to this, but I've had a lot of different experiences as working as a counselor. I've done addiction counseling as well. It's where I did my practicum experience and employment for a long, long time. And I work as a coach, however, for myself. So that's I'm sorry, the lighting here is kind of a little off. The other things that I do, I'm a research fellow at the Harkin Institute. Senator Harkin was the chief author of the Americans with Disabilities Act, and I'm doing pregnancy research there. I am also a adjunct professor at Drake University, teaching clinicians, counselors, therapists. I teach their clinical class, the medical aspects of chronic illness and disability, like how does a whole person work within the system. And then I have my own business, right? So my business I've had since 2012, and I've done a variety of things, a variety of contracts. I've worked with veterans, have worked with a Blue Zone organization. I've worked in precision medicine, and just a variety of things, a lot of contracts. And then also I've been doing the coaching and consulting for years. And I'm also an independent researcher. I do self-funded research studies on a variety of topics. I'm coming out this year with an opioid and addiction, a white paper, one on UTIs. I did one on prediabetes already. That one's out there. I'm doing one on small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. That one's all coming out there. So these are the things that I do. I do work primarily for my business as a blend of a health and a life coach. I am one where all aspects of someone's health has to be addressed in order for healing to occur. And so I've also become an ordained minister for the non-traditional alternative, to honor that spiritual or that side of a person. I didn't feel that I had, I felt like I needed to bring that. I do weddings. They're fun. I did one in Arizona, but Horseshoe Bend, and that was amazing. The most beautiful wedding I've ever probably been to, and I got to facilitate. So that was really awesome. Okay, I'm babbling on here. We need to get to the task at hand. A lot of information to get to today. I'm trying to keep this thing under 20 minutes so you can absorb it. Okay. What am I doing? Why did I leave the safety net of working for someone else to do this? I'm glad that no one asked, but I'm going to tell you anyway. So I am bridging the medical model. So the traditional medical model that works really well in acute situations, emergency rooms, those types of situations, crisis situations. However, Americans and individuals deserve more than just acute care delivered in a 7-minute setting with their healthcare practitioner. So I have studied all of the things over the course of my entire life. Eastern medicine, Chinese medicine, alternative medicine, precision medicine, integrative medicine, functional medicine, all of the different ways that someone can arrive at healing. There's more than one way to Rome. And so, where I do the research and help organizations and individuals and businesses in healthcare heal is to provide the bridge to also other evidence based ways. Okay, there's other ways out there to arrive at root healing. I'm interested in the root. I'm not interested in a band aid fix. The medical model has that covered. I am interested in having someone not need me, not need a doctor, understand what's going on, be educated to the point where they feel like they can partner with their body, where they're not at war with their body, mind, or spirit, and where they can move and thrive. And I believe in every fiber of my being in the ripple effect, meaning once someone heals or is on a healing journey, they operate differently in the world, and everyone around them just feels that. They feel that this person is less reactive, they're less violent, they're less all of the negative aspects that we can put labels on, and they are thriving. And people may not know that they've gone through something or that they've healed, but they feel that, and that's how families heal. It just takes one person to say, "You know what? I think there's another way, and I really believe in myself, and then I can do that." We are in oh, she's gonna go on a soapbox here. We are in an epidemic at all levels of proportions that we've never seen before. Chronic illness, mental and physical illness. 1 in 2 Americans has at least one, and half of those have more than one chronic illnesses in America. What is going on here? At the same time, we are in an addiction crisis. We are in an opioid crisis. We are in a suicide crisis. Men are killing themselves at record numbers. This is the number one killer of men is suicide. I just read an article on tween girls, 10 to 14. The number two cause of death, suicide now. And researchers are trying to figure it out. I've been asked to write in a cyber psychology textbook for researchers and professors, and I'm still on the fence as to whether this is my thing or not. So let's workshop it here right now. No, it's a huge thing. I have so many things that I'm doing. I don't know if I can complete this, but I am attempting to through these videos connect to those that are out there to let you know that there's another way. If you have an inkling of what that there's got to be another way. I've been trying this and it's not working. There has to be another way. That's the commonality in all of the individuals that seek me out. I do a large number of referrals. Like I said, I'm the bridge from the traditional medical model to the other modalities of healing. And I have learned from working for the state, I have worked with over 80 some different cultures and languages and religions and sexuality and background and different experiences, and have learned from the people that I work with, individuals that I work with, of all of the different ways. And so I am more self-reported, more effective working with individuals one-on-one with people and families because I get to know their unique situation. Not only their unique DNA, but their unique situation, their background, their family's background, their culture, their conditioning, their experiences, and really partner and join with them to help refer to get them to where they most they will be served best based on their values, their beliefs, their background, their finances, all of that. I partner with someone to the nth degree to really try to understand their situation. Now, when I do things like this, make videos to everyone, it becomes a little bit more difficult because sometimes people will say, "Oh, well, you said this, and so that means this." Well, no, everything that I say, you have to question what I'm saying, be a critical thinker. Does this apply to my life? Does this apply to my situation? There are outliers in everything. And so when I'm giving information, I'm trying to give information for the majority. However, understanding that there are so many variables that come into play. Poverty is a big one. Not all outcomes are going to be what you think they're going to be, even if the research, spoiler alert, most of the research is done on white men that have a higher income. And so, when you look at trauma, which trauma can be any negative experience, the outcomes can be wildly different. So, what am I rambling on? What am I trying to say here? Question things. Question, if you don't fit in a box, question that. It's one of the reasons I did leave the traditional was because of the labeling that's done. And labeling is done at the population level so that we can kind of, okay, you go here, you go here, you go here, you go here. But as you heal, you may start to question the label. And I'm going to talk about the awakening process at the end of this. Okay, we're going to get into it. I'm going to look at my notes here. We're going to talk about number one, boundaries. Boundaries are a tool that can be used when have you ever been around someone that feels like they're an energy vampire, and every interaction with them, it feels bad, and you don't want to be around them, and you just have a hard time getting back to where you were before your interaction with them? Has anyone ever been around a toxic coworker, perhaps? There are individuals out there that have no boundaries as well. And I am a recovering people pleaser. And this is one of the areas that I had to work really, really hard on, especially since I am someone who brings healing information or resources or whatever you want to label that to people. A lot comes at me, and I want to help. But this is one of my boundaries is making videos like this so that I can give information that I would have to give here, there, and there over and over and over again to do that. So this is one of the ways that I actually do practice boundaries is by putting information out there that's widely available. Sometimes boundaries have to be implemented with people that are closest with us, friends, family members, coworkers. And boundaries are a radical act of self-respect, self-love, self-compassion. They are hard to implement. So my tips with boundaries are no, N-O, period, is a complete sentence. And if you notice yourself that someone is asking for something and you're feeling like, ugh, I don't have time for that. I don't want to do that. Listen to yourself because it means something. Okay. I want people to start really believing what's coming up for them. That's your intuition. That's your self-guidance. That's your truth. So when you start feeling like, I don't know about this. No. Okay. Now you have to be clear and consistent with your boundaries. If you find yourself going into no, because I have da 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 because of this, that, and the other, and going into that, and you start to defend yourself, and then it becomes this cycle of like, I have to defend myself, and now they're mad, and I've let them down, I've let everyone down. It's a shame spiral. No, N-O, complete sentence. Use it. Use it often. Especially, like I said, when you know that you don't want to do it and you don't have time to do that. At work, it's very, very hard because you feel as if you say no, then that's going to negatively impact you financially, professionally, whether you're going to get a promotion or not. And you may give your manager or whoever is asking you to do this, you can say, I want to answer yes, and here's where I'm at with my projects and the things that I'm working on. How may you suggest that I add this into my schedule? Like really look at your schedule together and to show them where you're at. And that's not a no, but that's a no in showing them. And that may be your entry point into boundaries. So I'm looking at my Instagram, the Paleo Counselor, where I'm try to post something every day that is putting something out there that is useful and helpful to everyone that's on a personal development or a wellness journey. And I'm looking at this self care infographic. Self care can be all of these things. These aren't the cute things. Okay. A lot of times people are like, go and get your nails done. Go take a go take a bubble bath. No, that in a perfect world, that'd be great. Like if you're a working professional and you've got children and just go take a Calgon moment and just take yourself away. That's sometimes not the reality. But self-care can also look like boundaries. Self-care can also look like I'm going to read these off to you. Forgiving yourself, which I'm going to talk about here in a minute. Asking for help. This is something that took me 3 decades to learn how to do. Spending time alone. I'm an introverted extrovert, meaning I will go and do things like this, but I have to really, really step back and take time for myself to recharge. And knowing that about yourself is gold. It really is. Putting yourself first, asking for what you need, what you want and what you need could be two different things. Taking a step back and maybe staying at home. We're living in a culture of Pinterest birthday parties and Instagramming, making everything in our life seem that it's photo worthy. That's not true. That's not hashtag real life. What is real is noticing resistance that comes up for you, and in self-care and in the thoughts that you have. There's a lot more that I do want to talk about, but I do want to keep this within a time frame that is digestible. Know that you are not your thoughts, you are not your brain. Your thoughts are things that you have been conditioned to believe based on what society and parents, and when you're a little person, what was said around you. And you may need to hack that later on in life. Because if you're around a negative, nurturing, or a negative, kind of a toxic victim mindset growing up, your happiness quotient, 50% of your happiness will be based on that. So you're going to have to do a lot more things to hack that. That certainly was my situation. And so I have to practice radical gratitude. And that's been a game changer in my life, going from a negative person expecting the worst to living in wonder every day of just enjoy and peace. And so that's kind of the two frameworks that people work under, whether waking up feeling like they are the victim and the world is a problem, or waking up feeling as if the world is full of wonder and full of opportunity. They're two things. One of the worst things that has gone viral is this idea of negativity and positivity. Both of them are terrible because that's where we're seeing a lot of insanity in our world today, of this polarization, this duality between the good and bad, and labeling things. Everything has to be labeled. Everything has to be neat and fit between that. Where our true selves and where we are most at peace is within not the negative thoughts or the positive thoughts. And I as a trained counselor, there's nothing worse that you can say to someone who is struggling, who has mental health concerns or symptoms. Okay, mental health symptoms, because I'm talking about mental wellness and I'm not trying to diagnose people, but letting them know that this is a symptom of something going on in your environment and there's something that we can do about that. Because I am focused on the victor, the opportunity mindset, and getting people from going from one side to the other. So working with brains that not are negative but positive, but brains that are quiet. And that's where mindfulness comes in. I do talk about this a lot. I have a blog post on a meditation. And if anything goes viral, please let it be meditation and mindfulness, because this is where radical personal development, self-actualization, and becoming truly at peace. This is where this happens. Forgiveness. Moving on to that, I did write. This is going to go over 20 minutes. Okay, 25 minutes. We're done. Okay. So forgiveness, I did write about this this week on self forgiveness. A lot of times people will hold on to things, whether it's a thought, a belief, a mistake, a regret for a really, really long time. I do a ton of limbic system healing with individuals that have been through trauma or negative situations. And the body keeps the score. The trauma gets displaced, and it ends up being illness. And over time, stress ends up being illness, and lack of boundaries ends up being illness. And forgiveness, self forgiveness. And if you're not there with self forgiveness, start forgiving other people. So it's also on the blog about how you can start forgiving others. And so I walk through an explanation of self forgiveness and why that needs to be a thing. But I have a prescription, a holistic prescription for self forgiveness. And I wish this was what happens when you go to the doctor, is that they will just partner with you and like, oh, your marriage is a mess. Your job is toxic. Okay, so what you're feeling is actually very normal and a response to that. Oh, you've been watching the news a lot and you've realized that our culture is sick and insane. Uh, I really wish that we would start writing prescriptions, but that's not how our healthcare system is funded. And if you follow the money and you understand it really well, it's very terrifying what's actually occurring out there. It's no secret that the FDA manages both our drugs and our food. Think about it. Okay, so self-forgiveness prescription, journaling, just kind of free writing about. I have my clients do this where different points in their lives where they feel like they made a mistake and that they're holding on to a regret. And I share the story of I wanted to be a mom of many, many children, and I ended up being a mom of one. And I grieved over that story that I told myself, which wasn't true, but still trying to forgive myself and saying, you didn't know what you know now. And and being grateful, cultivating gratitude for what we have now and dropping the old story. We create stories. We do. We humans do. It's been the thing that's been with us since the beginning of time to fill in for the unknown. And our stories are mostly wrong. And when we look to the past with regret, then that's depression, and we look to the future with anxiety because we don't know, and so we fill in the gaps and we tell ourselves all these stories. And that's where, again, going back to the quiet is what's important. So for 30 days, because it takes 21 days to make a habit, 30 days is a month. So let's go for it. 30 days, forgive yourself for one wound a day. Just write it out. Feel your feelings. Whatever comes up, comes up. Another thing that I have is to visualize a younger you for 2 minutes a day. Um, this can be done like you talking to a younger version of you or visualizing younger you, like during these memories and pictures and snapshots that we have, like of certain periods over time of like you showing up as a person you are today or as is the adult today, and just showing yourself a lot of compassion. Now, a lot of things can come up when you're doing this. You were healing old wounds. This is a work of a lifetime. And good for you for being open to that, because this is how you do heal. This is how we move forward as a society and as a culture. And then breathe. Oh, the breathing exercise, please look this up. A body scan, 5 to 10 minutes. This is limbic system healing. There's a ton of limbic system programs out there, DNRS. There's 3 or 4 other ones that I know. I work with my clients on limbic system healing. These individuals that have mood disorders, mental health, anxiety, depression, OCD, PTSD, chronic fatigue syndrome, autoimmune conditions, you name it, infertility, you name it. When people are stuck in fight or flight, we become overreactive, and then we focus on the negative and the bad part, the bad things that are going on with the body. We're literally making ourselves sick, but we don't know that we're doing it because our body is trying to keep us safe, but it's keeping us scared. And being scared all of the time adds up and expresses itself as disease. And it'll show up. It'll show up somewhere in the body. And breathing. So doing a body scan starting from your head and just kind of looking inside or feeling or whatever you are doing, whatever kind of comes to you is what you should be doing, and going through the different parts of your body. Now, if you have an area of your body like a shoulder that's stuck, sending breath there, sending light there, sending energy there, and releasing that and just kind of letting go and going all the way down to your feet and then coming back up again. Practicing and being able to do this, getting in your body and understanding when you start to react, that is you're able to get in it and get out it and to remove that. Okay, finally, and I'm over my own self-imposed time. What do you do? Okay, finally, the awakening process. This one's for a whole other post or video. So tough to describe. If you are, see, now I spent some time in the middle of the night wondering, because I'm given insight in the middle of the night, oftentimes, problem solving. When our brains are working as they should, we can solve problems in the middle of the night. So put a piece of paper next to your bed or not your phone, because the light will disrupt your circadian rhythm and your melatonin production and all of that. So a piece of paper, old school. I've solved many complex problems because my brain is going through the day and I'm writing it out, and I wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh, that's the answer. That's right there. So that's why we've always said sleep on it, really. So the awakening process, if you are in a period of life where things aren't fitting, you're questioning a lot of stuff, you can feel like you're having a breakdown, truly. You may be going through a thing. I don't want to put a label on it, because as soon as I put a label, people are like, she's talking about spirituality, I'm out of here. She's talking about consciousness, I'm out of here. That's not my camp. We've been trained to cheer for this team versus that. Politics, religion. I mean, everything, good, bad, everything has been programmed to this. If it's in this box, and if it doesn't fit in this box, it's a disorder and it's here. The mental health professionals that are leaving the field like me know that this is not true. Those that are working with individuals that have gone through an awakening process, I'm not saying that everyone out there is going to label you, but that's how the healthcare system makes individuals that are mental health professionals work. That's how they're funded, or that's how they get paid and how insurance works. And so they have to diagnose. She says there's a lot of awakened individuals out there that are working in the field that understand that you're going through something that is natural for you at your true self level. And they may call it an adjustment disorder. I was joking with a therapist friend of mine. I said, well, what are you diagnosing people with that that are going through like a dark night of the soul or a spiritual awakening or a consciousness upgraded, or, what are you diagnosing people with? And she goes, an adjustment disorder. And we kind of had a good laugh about that, because there's not really much that, else that you can do as a practitioner working in the medical model that we can do when you notice, oh, okay, so you had a hard childhood and you did all the things that you were told to do, and you made a lot of money and everything looks okay on paper, but it doesn't, you're in a crisis. What's going on here? Oh, you're working, making a lot of money for who? Oh, you're making for, a big, whatever, big tech, big banking, big business, big whatever. And you're working 60 hours a week and you never see your family and you haven't taken your vacation days in how long? So when people start feeling, they go through this process where, and it can look like a complete breakdown, and it could also be a complete breakdown, but there could be something more. And again, I'm interested at the root. I don't really care about pushing this, that, or the other. You may be in a process of an alignment of your true self and who you are, and understanding that. I could go into really in depth here, but I'm not going to, because I'm just going to put it out there. And so so that people know, look it up, look up, get information, arm yourself with information. You can look like if you're kind of riding the tides here, like, oh, it was good and then it was bad. And I'm really noticing all of these things that are happening. I'm questioning a lot of the things that I've held my strong beliefs that I've had for a while. I'm really questioning things. I'm questioning, what am I doing? What's my purpose? What's meaning? Who am I? Some of these deep existential questions can mean something. And it can mean you can go through this whole process where in adulthood, you realize the conditioning, that you were told this was this way. And you never really questioned it, but you were told that. And it's like, does that really fit for you? Does that? So the process and what people get to at the end of their life, and anyone that's had a near death experience will tell you that a lot of it, a lot of what you're told is BS, kind of, because we're here to love, we're here to suffer and lean into lessons of suffering, and to help one another, and just to be. And that's not what we're sold. We're kind of sold, you got to work hard, the American dream, work 80 hours a week, make as much money as possible, so you can have those Instagram worthy, parties and all that. And for some people, that's what they want. And if that's what they want at their true level of who they really are, it's great. But for a lot of people, they're really resisting that. We're in a massive consciousness leveling up. Okay, and again, people are going to shut this off. They're not going to listen to it whatsoever, because I said one word that's up. She said this. I'm done. I'm not listening. I'm trying to use the words that everyone is using to show you that it's all the same. Um, Certain camps use this or certain camps use that, and I just try to collect everything that everyone is saying and to kind of show you and mold, this is that you're all saying the same thing. So we're feeling it at every sector. Healthcare is sick, the financial industry is sick, politics, just everything at every level. This century is about the feminine energy expressing itself, and a lot of the old paradigms are dying out. It's a huge paradigm shift, and it's going to get worse before it gets better, but hang in there. And a lot of people are really waking up to how things really are and what they've been told, and what people are stepping into their passion and purpose and finding their meaning. And they've known this. People have known. Once we kind of peel that onion back through the work that I do, and they know at their essence that this is what I should have been doing. And it's okay. It's okay to realize that at whatever point in your life. You could be at the end of your life. Some people are 70 years old and going through it. Some people are younger. Some people are in midlife. It happens often because you start to check off all the boxes that, well, I did that. I did that. I did that. I did that. And what was it all for? I have some individuals that I'm working that are in retirement, and they're like, what? And so, they're feeling it too. And I'm telling you, it's okay to feel that. There's a lot of people that feel this way. And there are people that are, meditating together. There are people that are joining together to solve issues that they've been passionate about for their entire life. It doesn't mean they have to go and quit your job tomorrow, but it does mean that you need to be compassionate with yourself as you go through this, as you're kind of riding out the waves. You may feel like, I want to be alone for a while to kind of figure this out. You may feel like, I'm having a lot of increased panic attacks, because I just something's not right here. Trust what you're going through. Find a supportive person that you can talk to about this, that has gone through that. There's so many people that have, and it's not mental illness. It's, you are just kind of waking up and stepping into your true passion and purpose. And it can be a really, for one person, it can be really beautiful, and this whole, just like it's heaven on earth. But for another person, it can look like a complete breakdown. Okay. Some people, they instantaneously have one interaction or one thing happens, and they're like, oh, and everything kind of comes alive for them, and everything starts working out for them. For other people, it can last years and decades, and we're all so unique, and our experience is so unique. And I hope if you're hearing anything that I'm saying today is that any way that you're expressing yourself and your life and your passion and your purpose, it's all good. It's good stuff. There's so many ways to do life. There's so many ways to experience life. And we start with taking care of ourselves, boundaries, forgiving ourselves. It's the process of awakening is a process of letting go. It's a process of forgiving ourselves and kind of questioning and arriving to our own conclusions as to what should we be doing with our time here on earth. Okay. So I hope this is helpful. I hope, I hope that the individuals that are needing this information are receiving it. The Wellness Wednesdays are my pro bono expression of bringing wellness accessible to all. Of other upcoming things that I'm going to be involved in, I am going to be I'm scheduling to go and do some of this work in the community. And I'll tell you more about that later to bring information to populations that really, really need it real time where they're at. I am working with some physicians in town as a researcher and as a health coach, I've been working with people I see the same thing over and over again. And so I've created these protocols that heal, research-based, evidence-based. Some of it's a blend of different medical ways to assess and address situations, but some are holistic. Some include precision medicine. If you take any medicine, you should have a precision medicine panel. Always going to say that. I have for purchase a holistic UTI protocol. I'm getting a UTI white paper out there. I am selling my small intestinal bacterial overgrowth protocol to doctors and researchers and to individuals. And so that is coming out. And if you guys want this information earlier, just let me know and I can get that to you. So I'm going to be bringing some of these protocols directly to individuals rather than it's tough because, like I said, everyone's situation is so unique. But I am encouraged by the research and the work that's out there. I was just reading an article on the microbiome showing, which I've always known, but actually research is showing that a lot of anxiety is actually a disruption in the microbiome. And so that's why, and it's not enough just to take probiotics, but if you're not, you need to. Probiotic foods are great. Sometimes they're contraindicated depending on your condition. So ask me. And then there are trillions of strains out there. And so I really hack. What I work with is I look at individuals' microbiomes and I look at the strains that they have a lot in. If they're pathogenic, then we weed those out. And if they don't have enough beneficial, then we systematically put those in. You can hack schizophrenia, you can hack bipolar, you can hack ADHD, OCD, all of the mental health conditions you can not hack. I say that word, but you can, if you really are ready to dig into the work and understand what your root causes for these conditions and symptoms expressing themselves, we can get to work. And that is the work that I do. And then on the other side is if you, like I said, if like the awakening process, if you're like, something's going on here. I want to explore what all of the possibilities of this might be. It could be you're stepping into your passion and your purpose, but I'm a ninja at figuring that out, of like getting down to what a personal mission statement is for someone and kind of aligning all the goals. I did that for myself. This is an expression of what I practice, what I teach here, truly. I am ending this. This is twice as long as I promised. I love bringing this information to people. I do. I love it because I wish that I would have had this earlier. Not a regret. I don't believe in regrets for me personally. It's all feedback. It's all information. Failure is just learning, and it's really dope sometimes. But these are the things I'm trying, and I've made an entire career out of filling in the gaps and filling in the holes getting good at the areas where people don't want to go, talking about the uncomfortable, uh, getting good at job tasks and types and projects where other people know that there's a need for it, but they don't have the time. And so that's where I am best serving. I'm always asked, how can I be helpful with my unique skills, talents, abilities? And we all have them. Everybody does. Every single. So don't tell me, well, I've never done anything. Yeah, you have. You have, and we'll figure it out. So I do have some space and some openings this summer. I know a lot of times summer gets really, really busy, but the coaching that I do with individuals is very short. Typically, in a couple sessions, they're on their way. They're making major decisions. They're making major moves. Some just check in with me periodically throughout the year because it does take a while for some of these things to unfold. And it all works. So everyone's like, well, how many sessions do I need? Well, it depends on what you're working with. I just checked in on a client, the other day just to see how they're doing, and their journey continues to unfold. And I'm always here to support my previous clients, and then new clients. The clients that are good that fit with me are those that are, really open to learning, partnering with themselves, or questioning partnering with themselves, just this open to another way. They've tried a couple different things. They do feel like their whole body, mind, spirit, whatever. See, if I say spirit, people are like, oh, I can't listen. Your purpose, everything is connected. Uh, that's what's a really good fit for me. And if I'm not a good fit, I'm going to find you a good fit. And the other thing is that a lot of mine, I don't, and my earrings fall out. See, even my earring is like, this is too much. It's checking out. Okay, so I'm gonna get. That's like my sign from the universe. You're done here. Getting people tapped into the other resources. I work with a ton of doctors and therapists and practitioners of all different types, light workers, spiritual advisors, so many different. It takes a village, right? And you don't know what someone's going to be into, or what they're going to need, or what's going to really, really speak to them. Like if you find yourself like really, like I'm really like this is really something that I'm thinking a little bit about. That's what you should be exploring. You're going to be given opportunities time and time again to kind of step into your truth, and that is one thing that I'm a ninja at. Okay, I'm going to end this Wellness Wednesday. I'm going to be doing these every week. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Like I said, if you're interested in that UTI or small intestinal bacteria overgrowth protocol, spoiler alert, most of IBS is actually small intestinal bacteria overgrowth. And a lot of mood conditions can be traced back to an awakening, not being in alignment with what you're supposed to be doing. Your gut, that's why I'm a gut ninja, and your microbiome, trauma, and limbic system dysregulation. And so those are the areas that I work with: autoimmune conditions, infertility, and then looking at uh, all the different modalities. There's more than just a medical model. I know that's what you're being sold, but there's more than just that. That's your insurance. That's what your insurance pays for. But there's other healing modalities that also work, that have worked for a long time, that have evidence based, and that can be layered on. It's not like you have to. Oh, I don't have to do that. No, if I get in an accident today, I want to end up in an emergency room in a medical model system somewhere, so that I can have acute care administered to me in real time. Okay, I'm ending this. Too late, but the information it's good. Self-reported, right? I'm the only one that's saying that it's good, but hopefully it's helpful. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday. Bye-bye.